Hey everyone, so welcome back to episode 2 of this CloseBot series with Bryce. If you didn't catch the last episode, we covered basically just a tour through CloseBot. So we went through what are agents, what are job flows, personas, sources, and uploads. Basically the key ingredients that makes CloseBot CloseBot. So that is episode 1. This is episode 2, and in this session today, we're going to be talking about the agent node, which if you did watch the last session, you would have seen Bryce pulled up the job flow, which is connected to the CloseBot website. And that job flow consists of only one thing, which is the agent node that is handling everything that comes through the CloseBot website in just one single workflow step, if you like. So in this session, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about everything that the agent node can do and how you can make use of it inside of your own job flows in your own CloseBot account. So thank you, Bryce, for joining me again for this second session.
Of course.
I'm very excited to learn more about the agent node. Is there anything else that you would want to kick this one off with before we get started?
No, we're going to start from scratch. We have all of our brand new templates live, so I'll recap those for those of you who want a clean starting point, but then we'll start from scratch and
Nice.
build this whole thing from scratch. You'll see how easy it is.
Fantastic. Cool. I'm looking forward to it.
So if you haven't seen the last video, go do that. It's a really good recap of how all these pieces work together. But we are here in the agents section where we have our personas. Again, we recapped those last time. Our work today is going to be in creating a simple job flow. To do that, I go to add a flow. I can start with one of our templates. You'll see most of these are just using an agent node. That is the node we want to get you guys most familiar with, and it can pretty much do everything. We'll also recap what all the other nodes are and when you might want to use those. We'll build from scratch. And we're building this for HighLevel. Oh, I'm building this on, see this source is my HubSpot account. So I couldn't select HighLevel. Let me just go to all of them and we'll build from scratch from here. We'll select HighLevel. Testing, flow.
I've got a quick question for you here, Bryce. When might you use high-level source over lead connector source? What's the key difference there?
Those are exactly the same thing.
Are
That's
they?
so
Okay.
that, Jonah, maybe you have an agency and you have a customer that comes to you and says, I want to use CloseBot. How do I connect it? We don't want you to have to say, oh yeah, go and connect to
Okay.
HighLevel.
Yeah.
Tell
Okay.
them to
That makes
connect to
sense.
the connector.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
So we're left with a blank canvas and this start. This tells us, hey, when the conversation begins, what do you want to happen? And you had mentioned in ours, we just have the agent node saying, hey, when a conversation starts, go to the agent node and get to work. And that's what we're going to do today. We'll click on this top tab. That's where we get to all of our actions, and we'll drag over the agent node. But let's take this time and touch on why we have other things in here at all. AI used to not be as capable as it is today. And so we had to keep the AI super guardrailed. Like, hey, get the person's name. That's all you're doing right now. Don't think about anything else. And then after you get their name, get their email. Once you get their email, say this thing. It's much more rigid. And that's what our other nodes do. Some people still like that. They prefer the AI to be extremely rigid, more like just a static form where you're going through, they click next. But some people, I'd say most people, like something that's more fluid. So if that's you, agent node is where it's at. So we have this thing on the screen saying when you start, do this stuff. But we haven't told it what stuff to do. If you click that agent node, you'll see a section come up where you can say, this agent node is qualifying and booking. That shows up underneath, so you know what this agent node is doing.
Okay. Does that title, is that, does that serve any other purpose other than just what we see on the screen? Is that fed into the AI in any meaningful way?
No, this is purely for us.
Okay, cool.
Good question. Now in here, think of if you were to hire an assistant and give them a standard operating procedure on how you want them to do a job. They'd probably do a better job if you have headlines that make sense, like titles, nice, concise paragraphs, and AI is the same way. That's why we have these things called sections. You can create from scratch or from one of our recipes. Let's create from scratch. If I just had a general one and then I had 2,000 characters beneath this, it'd be quite hard for the AI, just like a person, to understand. I like to have things portioned out. We might have a section for how to qualify, and a section for how and when to book appointments, and a section for miscellaneous things. I don't know, but portion it out however makes sense to your business, however you would give this job to a human.
So the way that I interpret that is you would have a section for each of the individual types of task that you want this team member to do. For example, as you mentioned, qualifying leads, booking calls. I'm not sure if something like taking payments is something, but like each of the different types of tasks you want them to do, and then the necessary details inside of each.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's start with a just general qualification one. And it might be helpful to think of a specific niche or business. What do we want to make this to do?
We could, well, I naturally gravitate towards my own business. I could talk about that quite readily, I think. Perhaps. Do you reckon that would be a
Yeah, let's do
useful
that.
example? I mean, and also for context for people watching the video, my business being an agency, so maybe similar to a lot of people watching this, running other agencies. So that might be quite a good example, hopefully. So, yeah, so where would you typically start? What sort of questions would you
So
be trying to answer?
I saw one of your posts talking about how you work with, and you can correct me, it's your business. You work with two types of people. Either they have an agency on HighLevel already and they're looking to grow that, or they don't have an agency on HighLevel and they're looking to start an agency on HighLevel, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So it might be helpful to qualify and make sure they're one of those two types of people first. These people can be communicating with you via Facebook Messenger, Instagram, text message. If you have any custom conversation channels tied in, like My CRM Sim, Link, all conversation channels in HighLevel. When messages come in, you can choose to have CloseBot respond. So we work with two types of people. Either they have an agency on HighLevel and want to grow it, or they don't yet but want to. Make sure they are one of those. And then now you have your CRM in HighLevel, right? Do you tag these people depending on the type they are, or do you update a field? Do you track that information?
Yeah, so I guess depending on what type of person they are, that determines what the next step is in the funnel. So I guess for us at the moment, we should probably have a field that is updated, which we can build this around, assuming that we do have a field that's updated, because we probably should. The reality is for us at the moment is when we're talking to someone and we determine they already have a agency on HighLevel, what they would need a lot of the time is an audit. So because I'm having these conversations manually, I just simply send a link to book in an audit with us. Whereas if they do not have an agency on HighLevel, there would be nothing to audit. So that would not make sense as a next step. But if we're introducing CloseBot and automating more of this, then it would make sense to be updating a field in that case, I think.
So what I'm hearing is we have this basic qualification where probably need to tell it to, and I don't know where your leads are coming from, to get their name if we don't have it already. But also it's important to get this information and then update a field that you would be making for this. So let's do that. Basic qualification. Let's add a part that says if we don't have their name already, get it and update the contact with. Now here I'm going to do an at. That gets me to tools that I can call out that I want it to be able to use. Now it knows the tools it has access to, so even just freely typing and never referencing something, it'll do the best it can, and it'll typically do a pretty good job. But if I want to make sure that it's using certain tools at a certain time to do a certain thing, it's really helpful to mention them in the instruction.
Yeah.
So I'm telling it to use this tool, update contact, but I haven't enabled that tool for this agent node yet. If I click that, it opens up the tools sidebar, and let's enable that. And I see that tool shows up under here.
Nice.
So now I know that this agent node has access to this one tool. It can update our contact.
Nice. Okay. And do you specify just in typing the text how you want it to be updated? So you would just type update this field and just type in the name of the field with, ABC information?
Yeah, really good question. Right here, it makes sense. Like it knows the name field. That one's easy. But this one's a little bit more ambiguous. You probably have a ton of different custom fields, and it might be really helpful for it to know which one. So here, either they have an agency on HighLevel and want to grow it, or they don't, but want to. Make sure they are one of those, and then update. Single at gives me our variables, our custom fields.
Cool. Okay.
I could call it out here. I don't obviously have that on this one because I haven't connected this to your sub account.
Yeah.
But let's just pretend it's this one.
Sure.
This is just one of the native existing fields, so obviously you wouldn't want to overwrite it with this, but yeah, we'll just pretend it's that. Make sure they are one of those, and then update contact source with, again, we'll just explicitly call out that tool just because we can.
Yeah. Okay. In situations where we're using drop downs and checkboxes and custom fields in HighLevel that have got a predefined list of options rather than free-form text box or something, would we need to specify in here exactly what the available options are and which ones to choose?
It knows.
Or it knows?
Yeah.
It just knows, just like magic?
Yeah. It just knows.
Nice.
It can update all the contact field types. Yep, and it knows all the options and
Yeah. Cool. Nice. So I guess the available options would need to make enough sense, such as like in my case, I'd have a drop down field with two options, one of which is existing agency owner with high level, and the other one is not an existing agency owner with high level. So it would.
and if they weren't intuitive, you could explain it here. Like if you had
Sure.
chosen to call them A and B, you could explain what A was and explain what B
Yeah.
was here in text,
Sure.
and they would know how to update it.
Sure. Okay. Very cool. Okay.
So then let's tell it. If they aren't one of these two things, how would you want it to handle that?
Well, first of all, there's probably not much we could do for them. At least in my case, everything we do is for people that are already set up on the high level platform or people that want to be. So we don't actually have anything else to offer if you're not in one of those two categories. So you could fill in the blank there with are you interested in any of the above, even if you don't identify as being in one of these two categories at the moment. Is it of interest? Would you like any information about it? But for the most part, unless they say, yeah, I'm really interested, I'd like to learn more, there's probably not going to be much else we could really talk about. And that I would assume that they're just lost on the internet somewhere.
And in
Okay.
that case, would you want it to stop responding? Keep in mind, too, we do have follow-ups. This would be a good time to talk about follow-ups. You'd obviously not want it to follow up with that person, but would you want it to stop responding entirely if they did message back in?
Yeah,
Maybe they come
I
back
guess.
later and they're like, hey, I thought about it. I am interested in that,
Yeah,
actually. You probably still want it to be able to reply.
yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd probably want it to politely end the conversation and say, hey, we literally only do these two things, and since you're not either of these types of people, then there's not much we can do. If you want, maybe leave a message for our team or reach out again if this changes in the future. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't want it to just abruptly end. But yeah,
So here we have the money's in the follow-up. Anyone who's done sales knows this. So, but we don't want to follow up with people that are not interested or not fitting our qualifications. So let's go set up some follow-ups. And then I want to tell it here, at this point, if they don't match one of these two things and they're not interested, politely say goodbye and turn off follow-ups. To do that, I need to go over and set up some follow-ups. So let me hop over here quick. You'll see we have no follow-ups by default.
okay.
If I add a follow-up, what we have here is what we call a follow-up state. Think of it as a predefined rule of follow-up cadence. Let's just call this one default. So by default, if someone contacts you, what's a good follow-up cadence for this?
I try and follow up with people the following day or two, like if we haven't heard back, if we've had an initial conversation and haven't heard back, typically on the second day, I'd be
So
messaging you.
let's add a follow-up for one day, and then if they continue to ghost us, maybe 2 days after that, one day.
Is that how it is? Is it so in the second one there you've got 2 days, it's relative to whatever the previous one was.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have our default follow-up state. So when a conversation starts, by default, it's going to follow up on this cadence. But we
Sure.
said we also want a condition where it turns follow-ups off. So we need to create another state and call it no follow-up.
Yeah.
And we'll just add no follow-ups here.
Sure. Okay.
So by default, this is going to be a no follow-up one. We have our default follow-up one and then the no follow-up. Now that I have those two different follow-up rules set up, I can come back in here. I know when the conversation starts, it's going to follow our default follow-up. But then here, I want it to politely end the conversation and at gets us to our different follow-up states that it can change between. And I'll say
Sure.
no follow-up.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. That's easy enough.
Okay, let's go ahead and tell it see below if they do match our criteria.
Yeah.
So now we have the case where they're an existing agency. How do we want to handle that? Maybe there's a specific calendar for existing agencies. Maybe that's that audit call that's a little bit longer probably versus a different calendar. Maybe it's 30-minute slots on a different calendar, maybe not with you, but with one of your team members if they're not an agency, but they want to be one.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That makes sense. Yeah. So for existing agencies, typically, so it's not so much. So I guess to be more specific in our case, obviously them having an agency or not is the fundamental sort of criteria. That's the first level, the first layer of qualification. In addition to that, though, we're also wanting to know, do you actually have anything set up in HighLevel yet? So it might be an existing agency that isn't using HighLevel and they're introducing HighLevel into the agency they already have. In which case they are an agency, they have HighLevel, but they don't have anything in HighLevel yet. They've got nothing actually set up. In which case we would book them in for a mapping session with our team. So we're talking about building a new system from scratch. But if they are an agency, they're on HighLevel, and they've already got stuff set up in there, and they're reaching out to us for help, then we would actually not do a mapping session, but audit what they've already got as the next step.
And for that first one, is that the same process you go through for no agency, but they want one, that mapping?
Yeah. If they've got no system,
So
then
really
it
this
would be
one is specifically existing agency on HighLevel. And this one is no agency, but they want one. No agency on HighLevel.
Yeah. Basically, nothing set up in HighLevel yet, but yeah. So if they've got nothing in HighLevel, we map it out with them first. If they have stuff in HighLevel, we audit what they've got. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that call cost money?
We are probably going to start charging for it. So if anyone's watching this video and they're interested, then now's the time. But yeah, we're probably going to start charging for the mapping sessions in the same way that we already do charge for the auditing. And then what we do is we credit that feedback to them if they then engage with us for additional services beyond that. So yeah, we are charging for that initial piece, and then it's discounted later.
So there are a couple different ways to do the payment thing. The easiest way is to have this share booking link, and that booking link processes payment when they go and select. The harder conversational way would be to have it exit. We can exit the agent node. And we have one of our other nodes, delay variable, that will sit there until a contact field changes to not be blank. We could tell it in the agent node, send them this link, and we need the payment before they book that appointment. And once you do that, exit.
Sure.
Let me just create that so you can see what our exits look like. I can create an exit. Needs payment. Notice that I now have an exit I can use there.
Okay. Yeah.
So if they want this, we need a payment of $50. I'm just making stuff up just to show this scenario. If they do want that, exit with at the needs payment exit.
That makes sense.
So this then will hold them there until the variable we select is not blank.
Sure.
So you would want to create a variable for paid for their audit. True is the option. And then have a workflow that takes that payment link. You would use a query, and this is a little bit more advanced stuff, but use a query parameter for their email so it knows once that person pays, it updates that contact record with that field updating to true.
Yeah. Okay.
And then once that happens, go to a different agent node that is they paid and we're booking them.
Sure.
So that's the other way you could handle that payment.
Fantastic. Okay. I know this example is quite specific to what I'm doing and how I'm doing things. I hope that that's useful to other people watching this. I appreciate though that I guess is a bit more of a specific use case and equally may not be applicable to everyone. So with that in mind, everything else that we're talking about here would otherwise be done inside of just one agent node at this point.
Yeah, that gives you a little bit of a glimpse into when you might want to use some of our other nodes. But keeping it simple, we could say, hey, for those who want an audit, share availability up front instead of asking them for times they are free we have a check appointment availability tool. Same sort of thing. I want to turn that on. That allows me to check availability across all of my calendars. So if you have a bunch of different calendars, you want to specify which specific calendar it's supposed to look for availability on.
How do you do that? You just type it in here?
Yeah, just type it in.
Okay. Cool.
I'm adding some things in here because I know AI likes to say, when are you available? And we want it to preemptively use the tool and say, great, happy you're interested in that audit. We have times between 8 and noon tomorrow or on Monday. Which of those work for you?
Yeah,
You'll
that
just
makes
get
sense.
a much better conversion. Same sort of thing. I could call out the booking tool. Don't have to, but I do need to give it access.
So it needs to have access regardless, even if you don't call it out in the prompt?
Yep. If I turn a tool on, it knows it has access to that. So even if you don't explicitly call it out, but you have enabled it, it'll still use the tool if it makes sense.
Sure. Okay. Cool. So the important thing there, though, is you do need to make sure you have at least enabled the tools that you want this to be able to use.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's not going to book an appointment if the book appointment tool is turned off, regardless of what the prompt says.
Yeah. Like this one won't be able to cancel and reschedule appointments.
Like just
We
full
might
stop.
want it to be able to do that. I don't have to explicitly go in there and tell it how to cancel and reschedule. I'll just enable that. It can't do tags, but I might not want it to be able to do tags. Maybe I don't want it to make a mess of tags on contacts.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
encourage people not to come in here and just turn everything on. You probably don't need it to check distance between locations.
Not for me.
Get property details like the estimated property value and bedrooms, bathrooms. It just doesn't matter. And the more tools you add, the more, the less accurate it's going to be at using the tools it has.
Sure. That makes sense.
Okay, so we have this simple job. We have this basic qualification criteria. This one, I assume, is just going to be, it's going to be similar.
Yeah.
Now I tried to copy and paste down. These agent nodes have 1,000 character maximum unless you come into settings and you remove limits.
Okay.
We charge a fixed cost per message unless you remove limits, and then we charge you whatever the token cost is.
Yeah. Okay.
One other thing that makes it so that we charge token cost is enabling this thinking mode.
Okay.
Thinking allows your agent to print out its thoughts before it sends a message. And that increased costs, but it also makes it so it's more accurate.
Are the thoughts, I assume are these those thoughts seen, they're not seen by the contact?
They're not
Or
seen by the contact.
it's just internal?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So what would the use case be for that then? Is it just, does that help the agent operate more efficiently, like it can see what it's thinking before it's responding, or is that more to the benefit of you as the agency owner that's using CloseBot, or?
Yeah, it's twofold. It makes it
Okay.
easier to troubleshoot why the bot did something because it tells you
Yeah.
why it's going to do something in its logs.
Yeah.
But the fact that it is allowing itself to think through a problem before it responds means the response it gives is going to be
Higher
better.
quality. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. And then what was the other one? There was like an intelligence mode or something. What was
This
that?
one is
Oh,
going to make it
intelligence.
so we always use the best model we can. If you leave this turned off, we use the model that's going to be most efficient, the biggest bang for your buck,
Okay.
able to get the job done really well, but not cost you a fortune.
Okay. Nice. And does that take precedence over in the previous session? So I appreciate I'm bouncing around a little bit here. I'm just asking questions that come to my mind, hoping that other people are having similar questions. In the previous session, we configured the agents that are the persona or the job flow. The persona are the agents configured in the persona settings?
The AI providers, Anthropic, OpenAI,
Yes.
those are in the persona. Yep.
Yeah.
It uses those. So if you turn this on and you have OpenAI set as your preference, it'll use the biggest and best model from OpenAI by default.
I see. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Makes sense.
Really good questions. Here I've kept this one simple for these types of people. We help them get started. Share availability up front, blah, blah, blah. Getting started calendar and book
Okay.
appointments.
So all you've actually changed there is the name of the calendar that it's going to book someone onto.
Yeah. And you might have specific things you want in here to give it some information about what is covered on the getting started call,
Yeah.
what is not covered.
Yeah.
That would
That
all
makes sense.
go here. But At this point, it knows what the job is that it needs to do, but it really doesn't know anything about your business. We didn't add any uploads.
Sure.
In addition to the uploads, though, there is this job information section. Let me cover this. Imagine you hired an assistant, Jonah. You gave them a big binder of information about your business. You gave them the job they need to do. And then they were locked in this black box. And they had messages come in through a key slot. And it was their job to reply. The message they get might be, tell me what you do. It knows the job. It has a big binder of information, but it doesn't know where this message came from. It doesn't know, like, if they came from an ad. It doesn't know anything. So it's helpful to tell it a little bit about why the conversation's happening.
Okay.
I like to use that one. You can create these from scratch too, similarly, but we give you a couple starting points. Why the conversation's happening. Maybe these are all inbound leads. So it helps for it to know this contact reached out to you because they may have questions about what you have to offer. Good lead. Anything helps.
Yeah.
And then let's go ahead and create another section, general business information. Do you have a business website?
Yes. Yeah. We are, similarly to yourself at the moment, we are updating it. But yeah, myghlcoach.com.
It's an endless process.
Oh yeah. What's not helped is the video at the top of the homepage on our website was hosted on YouTube. And when the channel got taken down, so did that video. So,
Nice.
so that needs to be replaced. This has just pulled a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, we have, and here, this can be a little bit confusing for people. We have our uploads, right? It can pull from those uploads.
Yep.
But it's helpful for an assistant to have like a flashcard of information so it doesn't have to look through the big binder for everything
Okay.
right here. So that's what this does for it.
Okay.
It gives it like a quick starting point.
So this would be, as you say, the flashcard. This is the information they need to have top of mind all the time, every time, without having to go away and look for it.
Yeah.
The uploads is then the complete knowledge base, which they would only go and look through if and when needed.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Sure.
There are some other deeper reasons why we've set it up this way, but maybe time for a more theoretical conversation.
Sure. Okay.
It improves performance drastically to have things set up this way.
Nice. Okay.
So notice there was a little orange exclamation mark there. That went away.
No. Okay.
Another thing it's trying to get me to do is connect a source. I don't have access to your sub account, so I'm not going to connect to your source, but I'll connect to one of my demo accounts.
Yeah.
And then we have the system that I've connected to the source. There are no channels enabled, but if I turn all these on, it would immediately start responding on all custom channels, the custom CloseBot widget I made that we can cover in a different video, email, Facebook, Instagram, live chat, WhatsApp, SMS, for all contacts, regardless of tags or anything they have. We can add tag filters here too, though. So if I only want it to respond if they have the tag, or maybe if they don't have the tag booked, we could do that.
So just very quickly, we did cover this in the last session, but just to make it clear, the source is in this case, the sub account. It is just the sub account that this agent is managing the conversations for. Yeah. The reason I mentioned that is because in my mind, when I first saw source, I'm not sure why, to be honest, but I thought this would be sources of information or sources of knowledge, almost like knowledge base. But that's technically what uploads is.
Right.
So the source is the sub account.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice. I like it.
And then we can test it. That's the fun part. And you should probably be testing as you're building it.
Mm-hmm.
So here's that thinking. See how it's showing us? It's kind of it's kind of reasoning through the problem it's given. And here's the message. It decided to break it into 2 messages, more like a human would.
Yeah. Nice.
And then I can see that it's following our follow-up cadence that we set up. So it's going to send a follow-up in 23 hours, and then another one after that in 2 days.
Nice. I like that a lot. I've got a quick question for you.
Yeah.
How did you make it not use an M dash?
It used a normal dash.
It did.
We we just have a filter on outbound messages saying remove all M dashes. So it's a code filter that just goes through the text and replaces all M dashes with something else.
Sure. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
We kept saying to people, it's not us. It's the AI. Like, yell at OpenAI, don't yell at us. But we got so many people that we were like, okay, we'll just remove them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. That's cool.
Let's test the scenario where this is not a good lead. So I can see it switched the follow-up rule to no follow-up.
Wow.
And I can see that here, we're in the no follow-up state. It says this is displaying incorrectly. This is the no follow-up state,
Yeah.
but it has switched it off, and we can see the whole thought process.
Yeah. Nice. What's really cool there is the answer that it's come up with saying, if it's not something you're interested in, I won't have much to offer you. That is pretty close to how I actually described it to you whilst we've been chatting. Like, I mean, I don't think it's listening to this conversation in real time, but that's pretty close to naturally what I would say anyway, which is really cool. Which is really cool.
It does seem a lot like you already. That's weird.
Yeah. and then it's gone ahead and turned off the follow-up.
Yep.
That was great. That's really cool.
Now we can, if I want to keep testing and see what it would have been like had I said something else, I can push this undo button and it's going to undo one step, and then I could send in a new message to test something else.
Okay.
It's taken a little long to undo. I could click the totally new conversation to test from scratch. Can go in here, make edits. This testing is really helpful for us to dial this in before we click publish.
Particularly, publishing would make it live, and it would start responding.
Live. Yeah. So you can make these tweaks and changes, test, and then publish.
Yeah, yeah. I like that you can build and test alongside alongside itself in real time with the undo button, undoing the last message and sending a different one to take it down a different path. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
So we've covered some actions, We covered the built-in agent tools. We can add custom tools. We just click into there. So if I wanted to tie into third-party APIs, I could do that by looking at their API and building a custom tool for it. Or I can use certain tools, MCPs. If I connected to the Calendly MCP, for example, it would give my agent node the ability to do all things that I can do through Calendly.
Nice.
It could, conversationally book to Calendly, conversationally book to cal.com. We have Shopify coming, Shopify storefront, Stripe. HighLevel one would give it access to much more tools instead of just updating contacts and tags, updating pipeline stages.
Yeah. And fields as well at the moment, I guess. With the Stripe one, going back to the payments conversation we had earlier, would that be if someone is, particularly if someone is already in Stripe with payment details on file, perhaps, would it be able to?
I don't know, agencies, I guess.
Yeah.
And you have an agent node that you're plugging into these agencies to handle their traffic. You can plug unlimited sub-accounts into one job flow.
Yeah.
Use variables so it's dynamic. And if you selected Stripe, for example, each one of those sources could connect their own Stripe. So agency one has leads coming in, and it would conversationally take payment from the right Stripe account, and agency two, the right Stripe account, agency three. So instead of every single sub account needing their own agents that you would have to go in and update for all of them if you want to make changes, it's all here in one job flow.
That's very cool. That's incredible. Very, very powerful.
Very powerful.
Unlimited possibilities, it seems.
That's most of the stuff. Agent node, the built-in tools, touching on custom tools. We have some things that I've left that are a little bit more advanced and really don't need to be used by the majority of our users. So with this, you can do a ton. And I'll actually share this with you, Jonah. So I'll click this up here, and I can share, and I'll copy this.
Fantastic.
And I'll send this to you so you can import it into your account.
Fantastic. Thank you. Which leads me on to what I'd like to suggest next, actually, which is before our next session, what I'd like to go away and do is actually take what we've built here, perhaps flesh it out a little bit more, tweak it, and tailor it to be, I guess, a much more hopefully complete and ready to go version of this that we would actually use in real life, which is part of what I'd like to do in this series anyway. I want to implement CloseBot into our agency to handle our leads that we're generating, and actually really use it rather than just talk about it. And I'd like to get to a point also where we're split testing that against HighLevel's conversation AI, which I think would be really cool.
That'll be fun.
So before our next session, I want to take what we've built here, build it out more, test it more myself, and bring it back to you, if that's okay. And then maybe in the next session, we can start by tearing it apart, testing it, tweaking it, tell me that I'm stupid or whatever, I don't mind. I think that could potentially be quite interesting at the very least, and hopefully very valuable.
Yeah, and then at the end of that one too, we could even turn it on. It's actually connected, it's turned on, and it's generating business for you. And then the call after that, we could look at some real life conversations. And you can do all the testing you want, but until you set it free in the wild, you don't know how people are going to engage with it and how it'll actually work.
Yeah. Nice. That's cool. I would also like to take the opportunity in one of these sessions to go through the other nodes as well. So I don't know if I'm likely to need any or many of the other nodes in what I end up building. But perhaps in the next session, if there's anything there where we find that we would actually benefit from using some of the other nodes, maybe that would be a good opportunity to talk about what those other nodes are, how they work, etc., etc.
I think people, absolutely, first of all, but I think people see the simplicity on the screen and they think that they haven't done a good job. And that's not true at all. Like
Yeah.
Jonas said at the beginning of this call, our own homepage bot is running off a one agent node with 6 tools. There's a lot of power in that.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely would not want to try and like over engineer the most complicated thing that CloseBot has ever seen. Like, absolutely not. so so if I can keep it as simple as just one agent node myself, then I'd be very happy.
But people should maybe know, you're right. So
Yeah.
the next call.
Yeah, for sure. The next call, we can tear apart what I build myself following this call, and also get into some of the other nodes, some of the other functionalities, and maybe some use cases around why and when you might want to use some of the other stuff as well. We touched on the payment thing earlier with the effectively like the wait step. We touched on that already. That's a great example, and I'm sure there's other examples like that we can spend some time on as well.
Exactly.
Cool. Very good. Very good. Thank you, Bryce, again.
Thank you. Yeah, this was great.
No, absolutely fantastic. I've learned a lot. I hope that this is valuable to everyone watching. If anybody has any questions that you'd like us to answer in the next session or in any of the future sessions, then post a comment below, I guess, and we'll make sure to cover those. And I think that's just about all for today.
I think we nailed it. Thank you.
I think so. Absolutely. Yeah, I think we nailed it too. Thank you, Bryce. And thank you everyone watching. And I will see you in the next installment of this CloseBot series. Very good. Hey, it's Jonah again here. I really hope that you enjoyed this video today about CloseBot. If you want to go ahead and actually implement what we've just covered in this video and you do not already have a CloseBot account, you will find a link to create one beneath this video. It's going to be in the description, perhaps also in the pinned comment in the comment section as well. And I'm also going to go ahead and make sure there is a QR code on the screen in case you're watching this from a larger monitor or maybe your TV and you want to be able to check it out on your phone instead. So whichever way you go, whether it's the link or the QR code, it's going to bring you through to this page. And on this page, I'm going to recommend for pretty much everyone, sign up to the free plan. This free plan is very generous because it's not just a free trial. It is just a completely free plan. You don't even need to enter in your credit card, I don't think. So this is going to be a fantastic place for the vast majority of everyone watching this video to actually get started and start playing around with CloseBot inside of their own business without having to pay for anything at all. Now, if you are an agency with sub-accounts in HighLevel that you're thinking about potentially rolling this out to, then you will then find here the agency plan as well. Now, you definitely do not need to upgrade to that right out the gate. You will have the option to upgrade, obviously, whenever you're ready. And on that note, Bryce has been very kind to provide us with a coupon code to actually give you money off your first payment of the agency plan whenever you're ready to upgrade in the future. So in the description beneath the video, you'll also find exactly what that coupon code is and how much money it gives you off your first payment. So you can keep that in your back pocket. You can make use of the free plan for now and then make use of the coupon code in the future when you're ready to actually sign up to a paid account. Now, if you're not an agency owner and you're just looking at using CloseBot only inside of your own business and not roll it out to clients as well, then you'll find here this purple button here that just says business ? You can click on that and it will take you to the pricing for you just using CloseBot inside of your own business, and that's it. So you'll see that there's a good bit cheaper, and that coupon code will apply to this as well. So hopefully this is helpful. If you do not have CloseBot already and you want to try it out, again, I recommend the free plan. If you're an agency, you can upgrade when you're ready and get money off. And if you're just running your own business, you can again also upgrade whenever you're ready, and again still use that same coupon code. So thank you again. Thank you, Bryce, for recording these videos with me. I hope that they are serving everyone well, and I will chat to you guys soon.